Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a quite remarkable Lexus GS. It's a 55 plate, it's covered just 39,000 miles from new. It also has an incredible service history. 16 services, last done by us, literally just done. All of the rest, 15 of them done by the same Lexus dealership. And it is in really lovely condition. Not to say it hasn't got the odd minor mark, which clearly a car that's 18 years old is going to have, but crikey me, what a car. Front of the car, really nice, very clean. Bonnet again, can't see any obvious stone chips on there. It's going to be the odd microscopic one, clearly, but I can't see anything that jumps out. Near side of the car, beautifully smooth in the panels, can't see any obvious indentations. Near side front alloy, very good, just a little bit of light pickling, which you're going to naturally get a car this age. Panel work is beautiful, it really is. Near side rear alloy, again, really good. There is a little bit of paint lift, you can just see a little bit around the valve stems, which is very common. But they do look very original, I have to say. I can't guarantee that, but they do look it. Coming around the back of the car again, very nice. Around to the off side of the car, driver's side, again, cannot see any obvious indentations there at all. Offside rear alloy, again, very good indeed. And panel work, again, extraordinarily good. The only thing I did see, I mean, a little touch and stick will do that, just a little bit of a chip on the wing mirror cover there, but you can buy the little stick from Toyota. I haven't got one, unfortunately, or if I have, I'll do it. But again, the panel alloy, really good. But that is a really lovely car. As I said, it's, you know, it is 18 years old. There will be the odd minor little mark, but maybe that I haven't seen, but I don't think you're going to see many, if any, anything like as good out there. Let's come to the boot area. Very big boot, and you should expect of a Lexus, just beautifully finished, and that has been kept superbly. Come to the back of the car now, full black leather interior, and again, in absolutely beautiful condition. Coming on the front now, on the passenger side, again, door card beautifully clean. Obviously a full set of Lexus mats fitted to the car, all in very good condition, and the passenger seat there, which is in stunning condition. Finally come to the driver's door card, again, absolutely fantastic condition. Footwell area is beautifully clean, and the driver's seat, again, in super condition. The only way I can see a tiny bit on the bolster there where someone's obviously caught it coming out, but for a car this age, that is amazing. So inside the car now, and what an absolutely stunning interior. Engine's running, by the way, so the dash can be seen illuminated. Dashboard, again, in just amazing condition. Sat nav, you can see, working absolutely perfectly. Pop the car into reverse, you get that lovely gridded parking camera, all working exactly as it should. It really is stunning. The only thing I would mention is, again, quite common, it goes slightly milky on the top of the veneer here. You can get that done. I'm sure there's some YouTube tutorials to tell you how to do it, but again, the whole point of it is to try and pick up anything I can. And one thing I want to show you here, but you can ignore completely, because it literally came on just after I finished the road test, weirdly. Low tyre warning pressure light came on. It doesn't reset. It basically, I've had it diagnosed and plugged in, one of the TPMS sensors in one of the wheels either needs a new battery replacing, so I've ordered a new sensor just to be absolutely doubly sure. So that will be attended to and will not be on when the car is sold. The only fault as such that I can find with this car, and it is not something we're going to be doing anything about, you know, I'm obviously doing the tyre pressure sensor, electric wing mirror adjustment there, goes right and left, but bizarrely enough not up and down. If it's really important to you, ignore the car and go to something else. If it's something you can live with, then absolutely fine, or get a second-hand one, because a new one from Lexus is ludicrous money. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and for a simply wonderful car. This is a Lexus GS300. Car is registered GR55VVG, and with a mileage of unbelievable 39,658. It's a very low mileage car. The reason, by the way, that we do our videos, and especially actually this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they actually get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. The reason we feel it's important is because, like many people, unfortunately, who've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or a description, but then you drive the car, there's an obvious fault that shows up as soon as you drive it, so hence that's why we do it. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this really lovely part of Gloucestershire. Even on a horrible day, it's a lovely place. And this actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on. The theory being, of course, that hopefully it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, hopefully, as you know from the Walkaround video and the advert itself, you know, the ownership's been extraordinary on the car. Every single one of its, I think it was 15 services, conducted by the same Lexus dealership, which is amazing. We've obviously serviced the car just prior to going out, because we like to do that just to make sure everything's all good as it should be, and it was absolutely perfect. But you know, whoever's buying the car basically is buying not only a fine car, but also the last owner's investment in maintaining the vehicle. And it's immediate when you drive the car, because it just, I hate it because it's such a cliche, but it literally just drives like new. It feels so tight in every single way. Come to the engine to start with, press a button, engine starts immediately, purrs into life. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all relating to the engine or any other part of the car. The engines are sensational. It's whisper quiet. It's incredibly smooth. When it does rev, it revs very smoothly. It's got a lovely power delivery. It's very easy to just tootle about. You know, it's just so docile in its nature. But when you do put your foot down and want it to respond, it does, you know, with real vigour. You put your foot down, it just really just picks up and goes. But that turbine-like refinement that comes with it is wonderful, absolutely wonderful, I have to say. Engine then feeds through into the auto gearbox, which, as with any Lexus gearbox, is just beautifully done like the engines. The gear shifts are all but imperceptible in the way it changes gear. Like the engines, they've got a reputation for being incredibly tough and long-lasting. It's you know, the gear change and the ratios rather have been selected clearly to extract the best out of the car in terms of its performance, but also the economy of the car as well. So it's kind of a compromise between the two. Notwithstanding reputation, you should do the same checks on any car, and that's just to make sure that the gear changes are smooth on the move, which they are, but also that when you select gear from neutral into drive or reverse, there's no great clunks or thunks as it engages, and again, in every sense, it's as tight as a drum. So coming to the steering of the car, proper old school power steering, tracks dead straight, there's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. The chassis and the steering, I mean, it's been set up for comfort. Let's be brutally honest with you. It's not a sports car. It's a very capable car, but it's not a sports car. But the steering's really nicely done. It's very kind of fluid in feel. It responds well. You pick your point of the corner and it follows faithfully. But the weighting's really nice. You don't get that sensation at higher speeds. You become detached from the car, which some cars can. This is really nicely weighted in that sense. The chassis itself, I mean, it's just ludicrously comfortable. It just wafts along really, really well. The ride is really well judged, because basically, ultimately, you know, at this end of the market, you're looking for comfort above anything else. If you want something more sporty, then you would go for something like a 5 Series BMW, or a sportier variant of one, certainly, because but they won't ride like this. So for the 5% of the time you want to put your foot down and go for it, the rest of the time, unfortunately, especially like road surfaces like this one, it's going to rattle your brain. This deals with this sort of surface, and this is a horrible section of road, which is why I talk about it at this point. And it's unbelievable how well it rides it, I have to say. But that's not to say it doesn't go through corners very well. It does, actually. But it does it in a different way. It's just so unflappable in the way it goes through. It just deals with corners, but it doesn't do it in a sporty way. But that's not the point of the car. Never has been. Even though that was completely lost on the motoring press, who seem to be obsessed by the fact that unless you can sort of do a four-wheel drift and hang the back out, then the car doesn't worth being on the road, or merit being on the road. But they are wrong, because most people don't drive like that. Also, it's worth pointing out, there's absolutely no sort of clonks or rattles coming from underneath the car that shouldn't be there. As I said, it is very, very tight and taut. Just give the brakes a bit of a shove, hold on to my things, make sure no one's directly behind me. Just get up to the legal limit. Good brake, really good brake pedal on the car, nice and powerful, no pulsing, no vibrations coming back through the brake pedal at all. It's all in fine order. Finally, coming inside, worth pointing out, I've literally jumped in the car, it's been delivered, it's not been cleaned. It doesn't really look like it needs cleaning. It's in absolutely beautiful condition and simply brilliantly put together. Build quality, again, this is where I have a kind of a slight axe to grind with the kind of the motoring press. When they are handed brand new cars, which they would have been done with this car maybe, 15, 17 years ago, like all cars of its generation, it should feel well built. The difference is the Germans in particular, which is what they always laud as build quality, they base it on brand new cars. So they look for squidgy plastics and thunky sounding doors and things that make them feel good inside the car. That isn't build quality. Build quality is this. After 17 years of being on the road, even with the low mileage, how is it all still holding together? Are there any creaks, rattles, paint falling off the buttons, that kind of thing? Does everything work still? And that's where these are streets ahead. Really, really are. The Japanese do these things brilliantly because they're not in your face, but it is a wonderful place to sit and drive. You've got a perfect driving position, really good visibility. The dash is really nicely laid out. By modern standards, although it's very heavily equipped, it doesn't have the distractions of those horrible big screens. I hate them now. I mean, this does have a screen and you do operate things through it, but it's actually really simple. If I want to go, I'm obviously on the sat nav there now, working perfectly. Press climate, you go into a climate control screen, but it's actually really simple to navigate your way through rather than needing a sort of PhD, which most modern cars seem to do. But everything's functioning perfectly. Air conditioning pumps out lovely cold air. You've got heated and cooled seats, again, all working exactly as they should. Dash display in front of me is that classic Lexus display, which is beautifully detailed in terms of the how it imparts its information to you. Worth pointing out, temperature gauge running at just under a half, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Lexus car, by the way. Nice leather bound steering wheel, again, like the rest of the car, just sensational in terms of how well it's being kept. I can't see, well, I'm sitting here at least anyway, any obvious signs of noticeable wear inside the car. It really is absolutely fantastic. So I'm putting cooled seats on, heated seats, checking them as I'm going along. Did do it earlier, but just for the sake of the video. As I said at the start of the video, I mean, the point of it is to bring feedback on any issues. That are none at all. It drives absolutely perfectly. This, by the way, is not designed to be the cheapest Lexus GS in the country. Far from it. But what it is one of the best examples, best looked after, certainly mechanically. And it's compared to its new price, I don't know what a new car like this would be these days, 60,000, 70,000 pounds, maybe miles off, but I'm guessing that. It's luxury, true luxury, with a very low mileage, with a wonderful service history at a very, very affordable price, in our opinion. As always, though, if you've got any questions, don't hesitate to give us a call.